One small step for man, one giant leap for gamers.
Captain!
Cut off the cables manually.
Roger.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 sci-fi RPGs.
Man, I need a real case. I need a challenge worthy of my deductive and pugilistic skill.
For this list, we'll be looking at RPG games that exist primarily in the sci-fi genre, though we won't be including MMOs. We're also only going to be covering one game per franchise. Number 10, Borderlands 2.
What you want? Just buy something and I'll toss in this crap fuel cell.
Taking the very best elements from the first game, this highly acclaimed sequel brings together 4 new Vault Hunters on an explosive mission of revenge. With a colorful cast of dynamic, often psychotic characters to play as. Not to mention one of the best video game villains in recent history in the form of Handsome Jack, it's all held together by Borderlands' signature design and polished off with online multiplayer.
Oh my god! Wilhelm, kill these savages.
Understood!
Your second trip to Pandora won't be one you'll be forgetting anytime soon. Besides, we're kind of afraid of what Tiny Tina will do if we don't include it on this list.
Goes the bandit.
Number 9, Star Ocean, the second story. Making the transition from the Super Famicom to the original PlayStation, this second installment marked vast improvements for its ever-evolving series.
In recognition of this meritorious service, he was promoted to Admiral at the unprecedented young age of 38.
Players are given the choice of 2 protagonists, whose individual choices ultimately decide the fate of the cosmos as they battle against the universally genocidal 10 Wise Men. While it has the traditional features of your standard 90s RPG, where the game really shines is in its battles. Set in real time where there's no limits on the player's maneuverability, fights have a lot more weight to them. Whether you prefer to get up close and personal or to flank your enemies, this game still stands as one of the series' best. Number 8, Shadowrun Returns. Now, this is how you make the most of a crowdfunded game. Taking control of the signature Shadowrunner, players are thrown into a tale of conspiracy and murder contained in a neo-noir setting with an emphasis on customization and exploration, as well as its RPG-style combat. While there is indeed a mystical element to it, what with the races you can play ranging from human to elf to dwarf and even troll, the game remains fixed in its sci-fi roots. Where else would you be able to select Street Samurai as a playable class? We also have to give a mention to the expansion turned standalone title Shadowrun Dragonfall for continuing the great trend. Number 7, Xenogears. Reincarnation, destruction, trauma, and giant robots. What more could you ask for? While the recent Xenoblade Chronicles X was a strong contender, our choice for the Xeno franchise had to go to the tale of Fei Fong Wong and his quest to end the cycle of universal rebirth and extinction. Tasked with freeing the wave existence, we're presented with a tragic hero whose bloody past and previous deeds have left him a wounded, vulnerable, but relatable protagonist whose desire to atone is as compelling as the fact that you basically get to take out God with giant friggin' robots. Awesome. Number 6, System Shock 2.
Steady yourself, soldier. This is Dr. Janice Polito of the Computer Ops staff of the Von Braun.
We could go into detail about how this game presents us with a distinct class system that easily blends together RPG and FPS elements, and that the dependency upon upgrading your weapons, armor, and abilities does nothing to impede the claustrophobic nature of your environment and the horrors of the enemies you'll have to face. However, there's really only one thing you need to hear that ensures this title's standing amongst fans of the genre: Shodan.
I used Polito's image to communicate with you.
No matter how many rounds you have or how many psionic powers you're able to unlock, the ever-looming threat and haunting voice of this insane AI ensures that this sci-fi entry won't leave you basking in wonder, but shaking in fear.
Join me, human.
And we can move.
And we can move together.
Number 5, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Mixing together nostalgia and elevating the lore that George Lucas created, This iconic entry in the Star Wars gaming mythos had players question just how tempting it was to turn to the dark side.
I've got a feeling that won't be our last battle with the Sith.
With multiple origin stories and classes to choose from, tons of customization, as well as a gripping story that had you taking on the infamous Darth Malak. Nothing was more satisfying than busting out a lightsaber and smiting your foes with the mastery of the Force. Oh, and I think there was this whole plot twist that shocked fans to their core. You know, something about Darth Revan? Meh, can't be that important.
Can its power truly be worth the risk?
Number 4, Final Fantasy VII. The earlier entries in this franchise were very much at home with the fantasy side of things. But 7 is where science fiction began to seep in, and from that came a hybrid that is still adored to this day. This game follows Cloud Strife and an iconic cast of characters as they try to bring down the Shinra Corporation, stop the imminent impact of a world-destroying meteor, and defeat the villainous but oh so badass Sephiroth. You may still be able to summon giant creatures on a whim, but the substantial amount of mechanized enemies and an abundance of airships boast a whole other side to the franchise that would only flourish in future installments. Number 3, Deus Ex.
Welcome to the Coalition, JC. I might as well start using your code name.
Long before Adam Jensen was fighting both for and against augmented individuals, J.C. Denton was taking on the likes of the Illuminati and choosing the fate of the entire world.
I swear not to rest until UNATCO is free of you and the other crooked bureaucrats who've perverted its mission.
Aside from its deeply invested and layered narrative, this game incorporated both lethal and non-lethal ways to complete each mission, which was a novelty in the year 2000. With multiple ways to deal with enemies and navigate terrain depending on which skills you invested in, players would find themselves shooting, slicing, silencing, and hacking their way to an ending that dealt with consequences that were far off from anything resembling a happy ending.
I've heard rumors, but I didn't really think...
More of it's true than you would believe.
Number 2, Fallout 3.
Happy birthday, pal. I can't believe you're already 10.
In a world where nuclear war has ravaged life beyond repair, here the sci-fi genre takes a dark turn as players have to venture through the capital wasteland.
So welcome to Megaton. Just holler if you need something.
Aside from a main quest that has you gunning down super mutants, cannibals, and raiders all in an attempt to save Liam Neeson, the game offers innumerable side missions that will only submerge you deeper into the twisted lore, where classic steampunk gains a futuristic edge. The capital wasteland is yours to explore, just be careful not to absorb too many rats.
I'm not crazy enough to go out there.
Before we reveal our number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1, Mass Effect 2.
Shepard?
I'm not taking any chances with Cerberus operatives.
Put those weapons down!
The strongest entry in what many consider to be one of the greatest video game trilogies of all time, Commander Shepard's second venture through the galaxy to defeat the eerie Collectors was truly a space opera to remember. Meshing together impressive third-person shooter elements, vastly improved from the first game, along with branching dialogue options, you truly felt like you were shaping the galaxy around you.
God, she's still alive.
Throw in awesome weapons and armor, interesting companions who come complete with a plethora of personal missions, not to mention some deeply investing romances, and you have one of sci-fi gaming's greatest hits.
Strength for Cerberus is strength for every human. Cerberus is humanity.
Do you agree with our list?
Nap time!
What do you think is the best sci-fi RPG of all time? With new top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Bask in Atom's glow, and you will understand.